Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to today's episode, which is 222 of, you know the name, that's right, the Power of the Mind podcast. I'm reading my notes here for a second. One second. I of course, forgot who I am. I'm hypnotist Jim Kellner. I need to work on my memory. I'm, of course, joining, we're having all kinds of fun today. I'm, of course, joining the amazing law of attraction hypnotist, Victoria Gallagher, once again on the podcast. She is the #1 best-selling author of The Practical Law of Attraction. Align yourself with the manifesting conditions and successfully attract your desire. She's also the founder of Hip Talk and an app previously known as HypnoCloud. We don't know the name yet, but it's coming soon, everybody. And she is a schoolgirl. And of course, that app already gives you access to over 500 hypnosis recordings right in the palm of your hand. I've got mine. And probably she's adding even more and a lot of new features, I understand, too. Hey, Victoria, how are you today?
I am wonderful. Speaking of that, so we have to confess that even though you may be hearing this in September thereabouts, so I'm future projecting to where where we are in September. We're probably really close to launching this new app, and and it's going to be amazing. Yes, there's going to be tons of new features, but today, the day that we're actually recording this is June 2nd, 2022. And today I had another amazing meeting with the app developers. And so, everybody that's listening by now has probably heard about it, but you don't know the new name yet. So
Right.
Or what it is, but it's coming along every single time we get together. We just advance it a little more and a little more and a little more. And it's just one of those things you got to take, you have to have that discipline, that determination, and that you got to change, focus on what you want. You got to, change your perspective. It's all of that.
And it's tough when you're
really cool light. You have really cool lighting behind you, by the way. I like how one side is kind of like light and the other side is a little darker. It really is an amazing effect, just in case you didn't know that.
Thank you. It's because, so what happened, Victoria, right before we started, my fill light over here fell.
The fill light fell.
So I turned up the ring light, and I was going, it's funny you said it, because I was like, hey, I think that looks kind of better like that. So awesome. This is the new way to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. So I am so excited today because we are talking about 222 and other manifesting signs. And, literally, as I was thinking about what we're going to talk about today, I was thinking about a different topic altogether. But then I said, what episode are we on? I'm like, oh, we're on episode 222.
Ooh.
I'm like, well, maybe we'll talk about 222. And so as I started thinking about well, what exactly are we going to talk about with regard to 222? I realized, okay, that it is also June 2nd, 2022.
Mm.
So it's the 2,
and
nothing about the 6. The 6 kind of out of line, but I guess, 2 plus 2 plus 2 equals 6, right?
Whoa, I have 2 hands. Mind blown.
2 eyes, right? And it's 2:00 when we started recording.
Oh
actually, it's probably 2:22 when we started recording, because it's like 2:25 now.
Wow. Mind blown again. So I mean, we got a lot of 222s now. I see people doing this on Facebook. Sometimes they'll noting a number or something. I'm always like, what the heck are you guys doing? Is there some special meaning to the number 222 or all these different ones? I mean, I guess let's stick with 222 first.
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about.
Let me just kind of back up a little bit and talk about what the 222 is all about in relation to manifestation, because in my book, Practical Law of Attraction, condition number 8, the last condition out of the 8 manifesting conditions, is called manifestation. Okay. So this condition means to celebrate, to acknowledge, to be grateful for all the manifestations that you've already received,
Hmm.
in part and in full. So meaning like you also celebrate the little successes along the journey, because all of those are a manifestation in and of themselves. And so that in part can mean that we're grateful for seeing the signs, that we're grateful for seeing the signs along the way. And so one of the things that comes up often for people is this sign 222. If you go in, you type in 222 on Google, you're going to see tons and tons of articles about the significance of the number 222. And they will say that it's a magical angel number. Positive things are coming your way. It's a message of hope. It's a message of balance. It's a message of everything is happening, that your manifestation is ultimately on the way. So that's essentially, if you believe in the number 222 showing up, it's going to have a little bit more significance to you. And I'm going to say basically it has to do with what you believe.
So, I mean, I'll confess, I'm not a big numerology person, but what do you believe about numbers? And I could be ignorance too.
Yeah.
But tell me, what do you believe?
So I'm always one for I will not necessarily voice my opinion on something that I am ignorant about, right? Like when it comes to, it's just some topics that I'm not very up on. Like my geography is not that great. I
Okay.
I will sometimes have a little bit of a hard time, knowing my geography is pretty good in the United States, but then you get into some of the European, countries, and there's no way I could possibly even tell you what's in Africa.
I met someone at Heartland Convention who's from Amsterdam, and I was like, the Vikings. And he's like, no, that's way up north. And I'm like, you're not all Vikings up there?
So when it comes to, historical events and things like that, I'm not, so I'm not going to voice my opinion on that. And the numbers, the numerology thing is kind of that way for me as well. I keep in mind, I wrote the book Practical Law of Attraction, and the angel numbers are something for me that's not exactly doesn't fit into the whole logical, analytical, like I can't really necessarily find solid evidence, solid proof that exists. Now, where it does come into play for me and where I do get excited for it is that we are meaning making machines, right? Yeah. We make up meanings about things all the time. And so not only will we make these numbers out to mean something, it's like, boy, every time I see this number, it means this, then it's playing upon what you already believe is happening down at the subconscious mind. So let's say you're working on your manifestation and you're asking the universe or your subconscious mind, you're asking to show you a sign. Well, when you believe that part of your manifestation is coming to you, then guess what? Your reticular activating system, that part of your brain that shows you and reinforces and validates what you already believe to be true, it's going to show you that. Because here's the thing, the numbers are already there. They've always been there. You see 222 on your clock twice a day, but your subconscious mind keeps track of time. So to me, when you are seeing more 222, it's really your subconscious mind is doing that for you. Your subconscious mind is showing you and causing you to focus on what is already there. And, and as an answer to show me the signs, but they could be angel numbers.
Mhm.
I absolutely 100% believe that's a possibility. I just tend to be a little bit more logical about it. And I explain things as if they're coming from within you. It's almost like you're holding the pendulum in a way.
Mhm.
And you know how a pendulum works.
Right. Mhm.
And your pendulum, it's like yes or no, yes or no, yes or no. Well, you're going to go toward the answer that you want to that deep inside of you is true for you. And I think that that's exactly the way these numbers work. It's like the pendulum. It's like giving you some outside, apparently outside, because everything's really generated from within the brain. So it's kind of giving you something to look at that represents a sign. Does that make sense?
It does. And I think, I can see where that would be kind of motivating. Like if you think that that you're, oh, I'm seeing the signs of it, but I can also see it could be demotivating. There's all these people that have these superstitions about, other things. Maybe they think that 222 means something else. Or, I mean, I think of the number of the beast, 666, what is that? That for me, that's because grew up, in a very biblical, childhood. It was very scary for me. So I think that it could work for you or against you, depending on how much you believe in different things. Definitely.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
So besides numbers, are there other signs that I guess that you're manifesting is coming to fruition, or you're on the right track, or things like that?
Yeah, I believe it is. So I believe that, as you are manifesting things, you are going to start to see the manifestation everywhere. For example, I remember many years ago, you know, I fell in love with the car that I still actually drive. And
Mhm.
when I first saw that car, like I'd never even really seen it before. And just like all of a sudden, there it is for the
Oh
first
yeah.
time ever. Right. And then boom, like now I started seeing that car everywhere. And it was kind of like that was when the wheels started turning inside of me to say, yes, this is on the way. So um, you know, so you'll start to see signs of your actual manifestation everywhere. I'm in the process of developing, this app, and there's a certain name associated with it. I see that name everywhere, so I know that that's coming true,
Right.
right? And people, helpful people, start to come to you from out of the blue. I believe you'll call in the right people, because every manifestation requires, ultimately, doesn't it require another person in order to bring that manifestation to you? Or it's a salesperson, it's
Oftentimes,
somebody,
yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
somebody putting their house up for sale, it's somebody, whatever it is. And so you start to have helpful people come into your life. If you believe in the repetitive number patterns, you'll start to see repetitive number patterns. So it's whatever really lines up with what you believe to be a sign. You're going to
Mhm.
start, you could literally ask during your meditation in the morning, okay, if I am on the right track, then show me, and you maybe come up with something that you're not going to likely see in any other occasion. So, show me a striped cat or something like that. Like show me whatever it is. I'm
Okay.
just making
Yeah.
it up right off
Sure.
the bat. Just show me. So you could ask for a very specific sign. If I'm on the right track, then show me this within the next 24 hours. And because sometimes, and they even say in the book, trying to remember the name of that book, E squared.
Oh, I read that a long time ago. Yeah.
Yeah. And the second thing was like asking, for a sign that God exists or something along that line. And I had a really hard time, to be honest, with that exercise, because it was just too vague. And to me, it was like, was that it? And I was overthinking.
Signs of God all around, right?
Right. Yeah. It was too, yeah. It's like, I mean, there could have been like 20 signs. They seem like ordinary everyday experiences to me because I see these things all the time. So I feel like, just asking for a sign is a little bit too vague. You want to ask maybe for a specific sign. But a couple of other signs I think are just that you just start to feel happier. You start to feel excited. Maybe you start to receive interesting invitations. And then on the opposite side, because these are all happy things, but on the opposite side, sometimes you will see things that are not so great. You'll start to run into perceived obstacles. And I think that those are also signs. They're kind of like little detours. They're kind of like little bumpers that sort of keep you like, no, go this way. You got to go this way. And because those obstacles don't mean that's the end of the road for you, that like, it's not going to happen. That just means like, nope, that's not the way. You got to go this way. It's just a little boop, sending you in the right direction.
I think of those too as like, this is the universe seeing if you really are the person that deserves this. If you're the person that should get this or can get this, can have this because of who you are. Like if you're not the right person, then that detour, that throws you off course. And you're like, the universe goes, see, yep, you weren't ready for it. Come back again later, maybe. I don't know.
It could be testing you. It could be, because I think it depends on the manifestation. Because if it's like a big thing, like that you need to be prepared for, then it's gonna ask you like, okay, are you really ready for this? And if you're not really ready for it, then maybe it's going to hold you back and prepare you or put you on the path to what you are ready for. I don't know if I wouldn't necessarily say deserve, because that's something that we all have our little deserve and worthy. Like, are we worthy of success? I think we're all worthy and deserving of success, but we may not just be ready for what we're asking for. You might need a little training wheels to get you ready for it.
Someday we're going to talk about that deserve thing, because the one that you have on your app, you deserve success. Someday we'll talk about that. I want to talk about that someday. You'll explain that better.
Okay.
Not today. I mean, I just want to, because you have your app. I listen to it all the time. You deserve success. And sometimes I go, do I? Anyway, that's another topic, another day. Yeah. One thing though, Victoria, could you do me a favor? Because all this time, I did not realize what that was in the background. Could you show because you mentioned a cat. Could you show everybody? Could you bring it forward? Just show everybody what that is. I had no idea what it actually was.
This is my meditating cat.
I love it. Yeah.
And just more on that. Even though this is a white cat, my black cat, Velvet, it comes in about 50% of the time. I will be sitting there on my meditation chair, and I promised you a picture of my meditation studio. But anyway, he will come up and I'm sitting in Indian style on my meditation chair, and I usually have a blanket spread across my lap, and he'll come up and he'll just cuddle up right in my lap on the blanket, and it's so cute. Sometimes he kind of needs on me a little bit, so it sort of takes me out of my
yeah, I guess it would. Yeah.
It does, but it definitely helps also with meditation, because you have to it's all about like not letting yourself go down that road of distraction. That's a good little tool.
It's one thing to be able to sit in your quiet room and meditate, and be calm and focused, and then if you're sitting in a busy place or something. So I think that's a good point. Mm-hmm. So what can you do when we see the obstacles, like those obstacles, because they're always going to come, right? I mean, it's not an easy road for probably anyone. What do you do?
Absolutely. Well, so one, I think, it comes down to realizing that you don't always understand exactly how your goal is going to manifest, because like it looks like an obstacle, but maybe it's just actually, again, it's just a sign pointing you in the right direction. Or it could be that it's taking a little longer. Something else has to fall away, like you have to make room for it. Or again, like, you could take it as you need to go in another direction. I mean, really quickly, like, I don't know if we ever talked about how Steve and I broke up before we ended up getting engaged.
Mhm.
But yeah, so I mean, it's kind of like that, because like I was manifesting getting engaged, and then he comes to me and says that we're never going to get married. And so
That was an
like
obstacle.
that's a pretty big obstacle right
Right.
there.
Yeah.
Right. And so I took that to mean like, well, maybe there's just somebody that I just took it to mean that maybe there's somebody else in the picture that I'm meant to get engaged to. And I'm still going to continue focusing all my energy on, having my soulmate and manifesting getting engaged and all of that. And, 3 months later, he comes back. So was it an obstacle, or was it just the universe saying, like, he's not ready yet, let him go get ready and figure his deal out? And so he figured his deal out, and he came back and he proposed to me. And so it's just, those obstacles, they don't necessarily mean that it's not happening. It just means that you don't necessarily have all the information yet.
Yeah.
And you don't necessarily know exactly how. If we had gotten engaged without the breakup, we would have never made it as a couple.
Mhm. Sure. Yeah.
We would have never worked out, because he wouldn't have seen the value of this relationship. He had to go and find it for himself.
That's one of the tougher ones for me. Like when because daily now I practice, at least 5 minutes or more. I'm manifesting, visualizing what I want and everything. But that it still creeps in. But how's it going to happen though? Is it going to be a book? Is it a TV show? How's it? And I'm like, oh, stop that. But it is a little bit like,
Mhm.
it's tough to let that part go. It really is for me.
It's hard for me too. It's really hard for me. And I think like, how am I going to manifest 1 million subscribers?
Yeah.
And but the possibilities, you have to realize, I mean, the possibilities are absolutely endless. And it's not going to just come through me, but it's going to come through. I'm going to keep saying it. I'm going to be committed to it. I'm going to
Oh,
keep it on the top of my head. I'm never going to let that go. I'm going to realize that if Calm did it, and Breathe did it, and Headspace did it, and Mesmerize, and all these other apps
nuts.
have done it,
Yeah.
then of course it's now, I know that that's possible. And it may just be that I end up on Oprah, I end up meeting Tony Robbins, I end up at some kind of corporate event, I meet somebody, or I get into a blog, I get on into a special podcast. I mean, there's like a million ways. And when you get take away when you stop thinking that there's a million ways, then you're very limited thinking. So it's all about expanding your awareness, expanding your mind, to realize like there are umpteen. And that's one of the exercises. I do this amazing exercise. Well, we've already had the law of attraction intensive by now, but one of
I
the
hope you didn't miss it.
exercises I do is designed to help you to understand that it's all about the intention, it's not about the method.
Huh.
And with the intention, you can do anything. And the possibilities, they're real. I had a coaching client the other day, I said, oh, there's a million ways that you could do this. He's like, no, there's not. I'm
Ah.
like, well,
Hmm.
I'm not going to argue with that. And, if I were in your shoes, I would, I would be looking at the million ways.
Right. Why not? I mean, Yeah, at least keeping your mind open to it, right?
Got it. You got it. That's what it really comes down to. You got to keep a total open mind. This way because here's the thing. If you think that this is the only way, and then you're just hitting your head up against a wall over and over, and this way isn't working for you, then it's over.
And
You failed.
you may be distracted by the thing that's trying to pull you in this other direction because you're like, no, don't bother me right now. This is where I'm headed, right? Yeah, that
Yes.
makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Yeah. So you gotta be open and fluid. Like, it's not to say be, flippant about like your efforts in this one way. If there's one way that's pulling you and saying, this is what, this is what you need to do, then give it all you've got. But also recognize that it's like, well, if this way doesn't, isn't the way,
Yeah.
then I know that I'm going to stay open to allow other possibilities to exist. And there are endless, unlimited possibilities to manifest anything. I can prove
And
it.
she will have at the law of attraction, the practical law of attraction intensive at HypnoThoughts. I hope you didn't miss it because you missed out on all that good stuff, right?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Being that, yeah, by now it's over. Right now I'm preparing for it, but by now, as you're
Right.
hearing this, it's over. We had a great time. Everybody graduated and everybody's manifesting some amazing stuff.
Yeah. So, so as you're going, so I'm just wondering, like when you and Steve, you broke up, I mean, did you see some signs? What did you do when you got the signs? I mean, I'm curious. What do we do when we get signs, or we're looking for
Yeah.
them?
So every single thing you want to take as a sign, like everything that makes you feel that you're moving closer to your goal. You want to be thankful for each and every one of those. I mean, like if you're wanting to manifest clients, for example, you want to manifest more clients in your business, and somebody, you were able to make a phone call to somebody, or you were able to get on a discovery call with somebody, like that's one of the things that we do in coaching. Having a discovery call, doing that free session is a sign that you are on your way to manifesting more clients. So just be thankful for, even if they haven't paid you any money yet, that is a sign. That is something to be celebrated. I'm so grateful that I got to have a discovery call with that one client. That gets me closer to my ultimate manifestation of wanting to manifest more clients. Celebrate that. And and recognize that therein lies a sign. Or just somebody answered your email, or somebody, even if they say no to you, you could even look at that as a sign, because you could realize, okay, well, we're getting closer to the ideal client, because obviously that's not my ideal client. Otherwise they would not be saying no. And there's
Right.
something,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
and so you want to ultimately, you just want to be thankful and see the positive, see the silver lining in every single experience. And you want to look for signs every single moment. You want to be like on the lookout, like what's coming. Be like in
Yeah.
this sense of like expecting something great to happen, that what's going to happen, where is the signs, where are they?
It's such a great point, because as we've talked about many times, I hope people don't get tired of hearing this, but we talked about so many times, and from a very practical place, no woo-woo involved, what you're looking for, you tend to see, for better or worse.
Exactly. So that's my point. It's like you can either look at the problems, you can look at like, oh, this isn't
Watch them grow.
working, this is and I found myself caught up in this the other day.
Yeah.
I got a build from the app developers, and they hadn't they hadn't given me any instructions about what to actually check for on this. This was a very, very, very first build. And so all I was doing was looking at what was wrong. I'm like, this isn't working. This isn't working. This isn't working. Right. And of course, like all I'm doing is looking for the problems.
Yeah.
And not looking at, oh, wait, okay, let's turn this around. First of all, they gave me a build, just getting it getting it on my phone was a build,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
There's an icon. Okay. That's a build. There's a splash page. Okay. That's a build. There's I love the way when you are going to sign in and the cool font that they chose, and it's so smooth looking, and there's all these other great things. So are you going to look at the problems, or are you going to turn it around and look at what you want? And so, if we are looking for problems, and just like maybe, it's like, okay, this build better be right. So what kind of what am I going to be looking for? I mean, of course, I do have to put my critique hat on. I've got to look at this from an objective point of view, but still, when you go out into the world and you're seeing what's wrong, you're going to find, you're looking for what's wrong, you're going to find what's wrong. If you think that all the people, are mean or bad or unhelpful or generally people suck, I mean, do you hear people say that all the time? I don't like people. Well, guess what? You're going to find more people not to like, right? But if you come from the perspective that all people are genuinely good, everybody's well-meaning, people are positive, people are happy, they're helpful, all of those things, you're going to find more happy, positive, helpful people. It's all about what are you choosing to look for. And that's like law of attraction right there. You're looking for signs that you want to see. And you're manifesting based on, what are you looking at? What are you observing? What are you putting your focus on? What are you putting your energy and attention on? All of that is just going to reflect back to you. If, and so I just can't reiterate that point enough, so the signs, they come in the form that, to me, like when the belief has changed inside of you that, okay, it's happening, that the manifestation is happening, the belief has changed, it's clicked in, my subconscious mind has finally bought in, my subconscious mind is now going to begin to show me and point me in the right direction. And you're always seeing things on the outside world that reflect what you think on your inside world. So now you're looking for things that are reflecting and validating the belief that you already have. You're noticing, there's helpful people out there. This is getting done. That house just came on the market. Those cars that you want are everywhere. You're getting asked out more. You're feeling better about life in general. You're just feeling good. And so all of those things are, the signs that we want to create. We want to create the world that we want to see reflected back to us.
You know what I find interesting too, you talked about when you think everybody sucks, right? And people are mean and nasty and all that stuff. I find that you project a lot of that too. I think it affects your behavior. So if you think everybody's mean and nasty and nobody's going to smile back at you, you tend not to smile. You tend to kind of be grumpy yourself, I think, for me anyway. And so you're more likely to encounter people that are going to react back to you that same way.
Oh, I mean, I literally, just before this, I had a coach call with a client that has, been dealing with some social anxiety issues, asking out women and things like that. And, but he's had some bad, experiences. And so like, that's kind of like how his belief system is. He thinks that all women are gonna, bark at him and be mean and attack him. And so I asked him, it's like, well, when you think of women like that, what do you do? What happens inside of you?
Right. Yeah.
And, and he's like, well, I freeze up and I come off in such a way that that's the response I'm going to get. So it's like our physiology changes and our behavior and our demeanor and our attitude and our thinking and our feeling, the whole environment within us changes according to what we are expecting to receive from other people. And I'm like, well, what if you changed how you wanted those people to, those women to respond to you? Like, what if you had what if you imagined that they're going to be how you want them to be? Nice, flirtatious, open, loving, kind. What if you saw them that way? How would that impact how you behave? And he's like, well, then I would be this. And, his whole demeanor changes. And so it's, it's the same thing as like if Steve and I are having an argument, and we walk away and we come back together and we're going to sit down, we're going to talk. If I am thinking to myself, like, this isn't going to go very well.
Right. You're walking in like this. Okay, I'm ready to talk. Go ahead.
Yeah. It's like, what do you want? What do you, it's like, yeah, no, I'll see you later.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
And so, but if I go into it thinking like, okay, this is going to go amazing. Like we're going to have an amazing conversation. And so all my body posture, my vocal tone, the expression on my face, all of that is going to change. And guess what? I'm going to manifest what I want. I'm going to manifest the communication that I want because I saw it going differently.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And this happens. I got a little confession here for everybody. So I know I come across very confident, especially on stage and everything, but I'll tell you, I have this thing where sometimes when I'll be in a big group, I just get this feeling like nobody likes me. And so like if I'm at hypnothoughts, really, it's the weirdest thing. Even if all evidence is to the contrary, I'll be at hypnothoughts or something, and I just get this thought, oh, that person doesn't like me. That person doesn't like me. Then I'm less likely to go over and say hi to them because I'm thinking they're going to reject me. And of course, that is going to affect them because they're like, oh, why is Jim snubbing me? Maybe Jim doesn't like me. And so it's this kind of vicious circle that's out of hand.
It really is. And you just kind of validated the whole law of attraction, because like let's just put away the whole notion that it's like it's out there, some universal spirit is granting your wishes, because that's not exactly how it's happening. You are creating your world just like that, just based on how we think is getting reflected back to us somehow, some way. And, it's your vibration. You walk into a room, you light up that room, you're going to have people coming up to you like a magnet because you're coming in like a magnet. And, but if you're going in and you're like contracted and you're like small and it's like, nobody look at me and I don't want to be seen because nobody likes me and I don't want to deal with that. I want to deal with people. Then that's the energy that you're putting out there and everybody's going to stay away from you. Now, I personally, I can't resist. I think you have a very magnetic personality. So every time I like you. So you can
right, good.
Rest
good
assured, you got one friend there at Hypnothoughts.
I always come up and talk to you and Steve anyway, if nothing else.
No, I believe everyone likes you.
Yeah, I mean, that's the logic mind. And then that in that moment, but then I remind myself, no, you're going to, and then I tell myself, this is what I always tell my clients too, make them reject you. Don't reject yourself. Make them, whether it's a job or a date or whatever, make them reject you. Don't reject yourself. That's, one of the things though, like we've talked about before, I've got my palm trees on my vision board because I'm manifesting my oceanside home, but I'm not seeing any 222s or 555s. I'm not seeing any signs, Victoria. What do I need to do to start seeing some signs, or maybe I am seeing signs, I'm just not recognizing them. That's what. What do I do?
Well, it's twofold. Maybe you are seeing signs, but you're not recognizing them. That could very well be true. However, so as we started off at the beginning of this, talking about how there's 8 manifesting conditions,
Mhm.
some of these, so these manifesting conditions don't always necessarily they don't always occur in a particular order. And, so you could start to see signs, but maybe you have to work on some of the other conditions. Like maybe you have to work on condition number 4, getting the belief,
Mm.
that it's actually happening. Maybe you don't actually believe that that's going to happen yet. Or maybe you have to work on increasing your desire and getting more clear on that this is what you want. Maybe put more palm trees, or maybe add this
Just
or
only
maybe
palm
there's
trees. My vision board is just palm trees.
well, I mean, I have seen your vision board. You need to have some more stuff on there. It's still kind of
Well, still got the same. Keep talking. Keep talking.
you got to put like maybe what else?
You see it?
That's an incomplete picture. There's all this black space between the palm trees. So put, what else is going to be in your vision? Complete your vision
Okay,
is
fair
what
enough.
is what I would say.
So
Do the work to raise your vibration too. Like anytime you start to tell yourself like, oh, this isn't happening yet, right? You're focusing on the like I don't know if you're attached to it, or if you're, focusing on that it like, oh, it's not coming together for me yet. And that may not be you, but that's just general advice. Like a lot of times for people, they're too attached to the
Mm.
outcome, or too attached to like a date, or too attached to a very specific place, or that kind of thing. So I would work in one of those areas, strengthening the desire, strengthening the belief, raising the vibration. And as you do that and you get it a little bit more into your ongoing thinking, and then you're going to start to see signs.
Okay. How long will it take?
How long? I know that's
I'm going to put on my calendar. I want to see.
one of the top questions everyone has is how long is it going to take? Okay, 7 days. Do you believe
Perfect.
that?
Wow. Okay. Yeah. I'm down.
30 days. Do you believe that?
Yeah. I like
A
that.
year. A year. Do you believe that?
I could live with that.
Yeah. 2 years.
2 years seems more reasonable.
Okay. So that's so
But
how
why? Why does it
long,
have to be? Right.
right? Why does it have to be so long? So it's about as
It
long
doesn't.
as it takes for so all of this really, again, I believe that it has to do with your beliefs about how long it's going to take, and how big is the manifestation, like how far apart are you right now
Mhm.
from your manifestation. It's like a marathon. Like if you've never manifested anything like that, you have, you really feel like confident in your manifesting abilities, and you've never manifested anything before, but then you want to go and manifest something that's like beyond your comprehension about how that's going to happen, then it's going to take much longer because you don't have the confidence built up in your ability to manifest. Same thing as like a person that wants to run a marathon. You never actually even been on a treadmill before, or you've never run even a mile before. It's going to take you a little time to prepare to be able to run that marathon. Start with a 5K, then a 10K, then a half marathon, then the full marathon. But most people, by the time they come to the law of attraction to want to manifest something, they've already tried a lot of other things, and they've already raised a lot of doubt about their ability to even create something. So it's so many factors at play. It's really not possible to say how long it is, because it's so different for everyone. It just depends on your level of belief and how far away you are from having that. And you have to I always suggest you starting with something small, manifesting a state of mind, manifesting a feeling, manifesting seeing certain signs, manifesting little things, manifesting a phone call, manifesting a text message, manifesting an apology, manifesting
Yeah.
just these little things, and just use those as like little exercises. It's like, ooh, I really can manifest that. I really can manifest that. I really can manifest that. And then you can manifest the bigger stuff. And, so time is really relative to your experience with manifestation.
It's such a great point too. And it's how easy it is to just manifest a feeling or a thought instead of, I've got to manifest this big house thing. But what's funny, when you were talking about that, it occurred to me that if you'd have asked me 2 years ago, 2 years would have sounded reasonable. If you asked me 2 years from now, I'd probably still say, yeah, 2 years seems reasonable. So it was maybe a 2-year thing where I'm like, maybe why does it have to take 2 years? Why couldn't it just happen in a year or 30 days? It could happen in a week. Who knows?
Well, and part of that could be, are you getting involved in the how it's going to happen?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, so many things to think about. More than just palm trees.
Exactly. Thanks
so much, Victoria. What a fun time. Let's leave people with my vision board.
Yeah. My challenge to you is by maybe not the next podcast, but maybe within, the next few podcasts that we do together, that you put a few more things on your vision board.
More palm trees, right? More palm.
Now I need to actually create a vision board. I haven't created one in so long. I need to maybe get my app with my 1 million subscribers on my vision board.
Maybe we can talk about vision boards sometime on how to create one the right way and stuff.
Ooh, I like that. I like that for maybe episode, I don't know, 224, 225, somewhere around there. I like that.
If you've got a vision board, please take a picture and post it in the group. Which group is best for that, or send it to Victoria, her email address.
Oh yeah. Yeah. You could, well, first of all, I would recommend anybody here join our Facebook group. You just go Facebook.com/groups/LOA book. So that would be a good group. So that would be a good group. You could join and you could put that in our Facebook group. And maybe I need a Power Your Mind Facebook group.
I would just love to see what other people have done for their vision boards. That'd be really kind of cool to see.
It would be. It would definitely. Yeah, that'd be awesome. Awesome. Well, just another great conversation, Jim. Thank you so much for joining me today. And thank you, audience. Thank you, listeners, for joining Jim and I on the Power of Your Mind podcast. Go check out Jim at jimkellner.com and see what he's got going on, what he's up to. And check me out at victoriamgallagher.com and follow me all over. Follow us, stalk us all over social media, everywhere. TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all the places. And definitely give us your feedback. Leave a review for us in the iTunes podcast, Google Play, wherever. And most of all, just apply what we're talking about here and change your life, and download the HypnoCloud app, of course, for sure. And, or whatever it's called by the time you're listening to this, you'll still be able to find it by HypnoCloud. I'll make sure I always have that keyword available, but whatever it's called. And I know what it's called, but anyway, thank you so much for listening to the Power of Your Mind podcast, and we'll see you next time. Bye now.